you a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, and you are interested in diving deeper into your psyche? Or maybe you are cross-watching for a Virgo in your life and you want to know more about their inner world. Well, in today's video, we are going to be exploring the shadow side of Virgo and how to own these parts. Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. And if you have not joined the Cosmic Warriors Club, what are you waiting for? Go to cosmicwarriorsclub.com. I hope to see you there. But before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and click the bell. And if you are interested in any of my services, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks, guide, and merch. All the links will be in the description box down below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful today. Let's do this. Okay, so before we get into this, I do not claim to be a psychologist, okay? This is me simply going off the knowledge I know about astrology. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt and see how things resonate. And I also want to give a massive shout out to the astrologer Howard Sasportas, who wrote the book, The 12 Houses. Thanks to his knowledge and this amazing information, I have been able to create this video today. Also, I suggest watching for your rising sign first and foremost, and then also try watching for your sun and moon just to see how things resonate. I will be using the whole sign system for this series and will be diving into your 7th, 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. This is because these houses are known as unconscious houses. They are tied to our shadow. And if you have any planets in these houses, consider them. And one more thing here, this information is in conjunction with Jungian psychology, and so we will be exploring your shadow side. In short terms, Carl Jung explored symbolism and archetypes, and so you could say that the 12 signs are archetypes. So on that note, let's explore your shadow, Virgo, and how to own it. Virgo, you greet life with efficiency, correctness, and order. There is a very specific way you go about doing things. You thrive on having a routine that suits your unique needs. Out of the blue, your routines change, and whilst you can adapt, sudden changes often cause you great stress and worry. There is also this calculating and discerning side to your personality. You'll analyze what does and does not work for you. But this process takes time. You learn throughout your life what agrees with you and what does not. So this goes for your relationships, work, food, clothes, makeup, skincare, your skin treatment, where you live, whatever you can think of, Virgo, you need time to process it all. You need time to sit with information and to really let it digest. And when you find what works for you, when you find what is useful, great. You'll most likely create a routine or a habit out of whatever that thing is, whatever is working for you. And this makes sense because if it works so well, why would you change it? But if things aren't working, this is when you reconsider things. This is when you move things around. You can be creatures of habit, and when you are living in alignment with your higher self, you're calm, you're patient, you're steady, and quite gentle too. You can be such wonderful people of service, here to help, support, serve, make improvements, and to give generously of your time. You can be so kind toward animals, and you have this healing presence about you. However, what often happens is you rush around trying to do too much. You take on too many responsibilities and commitments because you want to do good. You want to be seen as a good person, as someone with stature, as someone who is successful, as someone who is responsible. And so what you do is you pour your heart into the things you create. So your children, if you have any, your creative projects, your interests, your passions, your hobbies. I am telling you that when a Virgo is passionate about something, do not tell them they will fail at it or they cannot do it, because they will fight tooth and nail to prove you wrong. Still, the thing about this is you can take things too far where you work excessively, you go above and beyond for others as a way to prove your worth, and then you end up feeling like rubbish because it gets to a point where nobody sees you, nobody wants your help, nobody will take your advice, and then you end up feeling rather disrespected. And this disrespect can lead to feelings of insecurity, where you feel like a failure. After all, you tend to internalize things, both the good, both the bad, going back to, with the finding out what does and doesn't work for you, digesting everything. Yeah, you tend to internalize it all. Plus, you can have the tendency of hyper fixating on things and behaving super picky. If things are done in a very specific way, in a specific order, you can feel anxious, you can feel angry, nervous, upset. You can come across as uptight and rigid. Oh, and you also find it so difficult to switch off and relax, especially switching off up here. And this leads me on to your descendant. So you have Pisces on the descendant, Virgo. Pisces invites you to relax, recharge, and go with the flow. Pisces wants you to dance, paint, or listen to music just for the sake of it. Whatever you like to do as a form of creative expression, Pisces says live in the moment. Feel the inspiration, be spontaneous, Virgo. Let go and loosen up a little. Pisces also welcomes the part of you that is compassionate and empathetic. You can be emotionally warm people and very understanding too, but sometimes you can judge others very harshly. And I don't just mean others, you judge yourself harshly the most. And this is interesting because by you judging yourself, you in turn start to judge others. You often look out at the world and you think, what a mess. These people are crazy. Why would someone wear jeans like that? This is not the correct way of doing things. This is the better way. Watch me do it, or let me do it. Dear God, let me do it. But you see, Pisces encourages you to look in the mirror. Pisces asks, what are these people reflecting about the mess in my own life? See, Pisces shows you that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to stop working and to get outside for some fresh air. And the really interesting thing about this is you tend to attract people who teach you these very lessons. Now, you might not see it because the 7th house can point toward the unconscious, but they really do. So you didn't word something in the best way. Who cares? You didn't get everything completed on your to-do list. There's always tomorrow. You just accidentally cut that person off whilst driving. Everybody does it. I get that you are continuously improving and refining yourself, and I'm not saying to forget these parts of you, but what if you could own other parts of you that aren't so measured? Moreover, you tend to attract lovers, close friends, business partners who are spiritual, caring, gentle, peaceful, musical, serene. And when you become really close, these qualities seem to come out of you. You might even approach relationships in this very spiritual or undefined way, this sort of go with the flow way. You can experience relationships that make you feel calm. You feel love and serenity. And so perhaps you could even own these very parts of yourself, the parts of yourself that are so deeply connected to your emotions and your feelings, moving from the head space to the heart space, tapping into your body. And I mean, really, really checking in with yourself. You are an earth sign. You can be highly sensual, grounded. You love to connect with nature. You value the rhythms and the cycles of life, but your mind can often take over. It can be quite the challenge to get the balance right between your mind and your body. And I think Pisces brings this super spiritual and soulful element to your life. This part of you that is incredibly spiritual and wise and creative. However, be cautious of being delusional and paranoid within your relationships. See, it's your relationships that can also bring out the parts of you that are victimized. You can act as a savior, and you can also act as a martyr, where it's like, I sacrificed everything for you. Or, let me rescue you. Let me care for you. It's as if your partners are helpless and super vulnerable. And so they need you. They need you to be that savior, Virgo. But you see, you too, Virgo, unconsciously wish to be saved, to be rescued. But by owning these parts of yourself, you learn that you must save yourself. Nobody's going to save you, but then just as much, it's not about saving other people. See, you can attract people who repeatedly cross your boundaries. They confuse you, they isolate you. You can attract leeches, users, manipulators. And if this is the case for you, Virgo, this is about addressing the part of yourself that puts up with such behavior. Not to mention, you can paint this sort of image on others based on your dreams or based on a certain fantasy that you have, this ideal. You can over-romanticize your relationships. It's interesting because you have such an analytical eye and an analytical mind. You prefer to be rational and level-headed. But underneath, you are very sensitive and very emotional. You dream of a better existence, not just for yourself, but for humanity. But being a doormat takes you away from your purpose. Getting caught up in needing to fix everybody else's problems only holds you back from growing, from expanding, from lifting yourself up. I get that you're very empathetic, but you can be too tangled up in someone else. And so if this is the case, ask yourself why. And I am referring to lovers, close friends, business partners to an extent here. Like I said, perhaps you are a Virgo who has become aware of these qualities within yourself, and so you have owned these parts of yourself. And so you feel much more balanced, okay? You feel more centered in your relationships, like this is where I end and this is where another person begins. Upon reflection here, and just to share a quick experience, I have a Virgo rising, and I can say that I have worked on these things. I have been working on these types of things over the last 3 years or so. I have been in group psychotherapy. Of course, I'm still learning. I'm still processing things. Of course, going back to the whole Virgo thing of really needing to sit with information, needing to let it process, digest. But yeah, I am working through these things. Hi, it is me once again, and I just wanted to inform you about the club I have created. So it is called the Cosmic Warriors Club, and there are 2 plans within this club. The first plan is £5 per month, called Cosmic Sessions. Now within Cosmic Sessions, you will receive access to transit videos and seasonal videos. In the seasonal videos, we greet each season. We look at what the zodiac signs teach us, looking at journaling questions. Also looking at an overview of the season ahead, and then within the transit videos we even explore aspects and we look at your horoscopes, and you can also ask me questions. And then looking at the second plan, which is £14 per month, this is called the Cosmic Package. This plan includes everything that I just mentioned, plus your monthly horoscopes, your weekly horoscopes, new moon and full moon reports, and even looking at cosmic check-ins each week and discounts on my products and services and so on. So if any of these plans interest you, make sure that you go to cosmicwarriorsclub.com. I cannot wait for you to join, and I look forward to seeing you there. Still, let's take you back to your childhood by exploring your 4th house / your IC. So if you have Sagittarius in the 4th house or a Sagittarius IC, did you grow up in this highly religious household? Were you subconsciously taught this message of staying in relationships no matter what? Or is it that there is this godlike imprint in your mind of being holier than thou, this holier than thou individual, or being an individual who saves, who rescues, who sacrifices, someone who must serve? Perhaps being this seemingly well-behaved, sweet, and innocent person was reinforced growing up. Religion or not, you must not do anything wrong, Virgo. You must be kind and thoughtful and respectful. You must not talk back to your parents. You must help around the house. You must perform really well in school. You must follow these rules. There were these expectations placed upon you from a very young age, and perhaps it can be difficult to access a different part of yourself that says otherwise. So thinking about those Pisces traits. Then again, is it that you developed this highly idealistic inner life? You had dreams, big dreams, Virgo. You still do. These dreams you have are to do with where you live and where you travel to. You possess this inner free spirit which can't be fenced in. You love to travel, and you could perhaps happily live in a different country. You can feel right at home within particular countries. And if others do try to fence you in, you can feel so uncomfortable. Or here, is it that even you moved quite a bit growing up? Perhaps you actually did relocate, you moved to a completely different country. Perhaps you and your family would often travel, or you literally moved house. Or is it that you come from an ancestry of travelers in this way? Then again, maybe you possessed this higher calling of, I need out of here. I need to be free. I need to spread my wings. Maybe one of your parents instilled this freedom within you, either directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. And when you become super close with someone else, you can be so philosophical and expansive, highly opinionated even. Seriously, whenever you feel this emotional bond with someone else, you can be so honest and raw. Yeah, you will let out your many opinions. You also tend to see the bigger picture, but you may not necessarily show this to other people. You may not necessarily vocalize to other people the bigger picture that you see. Or it's that you can really visualize where something is headed or where a relationship is headed. The types of things you can experience together. And whilst there is a part of you that can be too dependent on others emotionally, where you look to others for emotional support excessively, there is this other part of you that needs to roam free. This part of you that would happily relocate to a different country without telling anyone, without telling your friends and family. But remember, Virgo, no matter where you travel to, there you are. And no matter how many people throw their opinions at you, you're always going to believe in your truth and that your truth is correct for you. See, whilst it's good to acknowledge and own these Pisces parts of yourself, I also think it's important to acknowledge these deeply philosophical and knowledge-seeking Sagittarius traits, but also the parts of you that can go overboard, the parts of you that can be overzealous, preachy, impatient. So what's going on here? Were you preached at quite a lot as a child? Was it hard to sit still for a moment? Was there continuous movement growing up? Did you feel like you needed to do more? Okay, so now we have explored your family life, your relationships. What about the really hidden stuff? The stuff that you deny, the things that make you turn in horror. Though, do remember that the shadow isn't all bad. There are many softer qualities that we deny too. Well, with Aries in your 8th house, underneath the surface, you are super passionate, hot-headed, fiery, courageous, and brave. You can also be super naive, which you probably do not like to admit, whilst you see yourself as measured, intelligent, put together. There is this hidden part of you that can be impulsive. You'll do things without thinking them through. Next thing you know, you're in trouble or you're in danger. You're in this messy situation, which is super hard to get out of. And such parts of you can come out when people form a deeper connection with you. I'm talking about intimate partners, lovers, people you're in therapy with, those friends whom you have a really close bond with, where it feels like you're inseparable. And I also see people who aren't close to you observing these aggressive and competitive behaviors at times. Basically, there is this whole other side to you that stands up for yourself, defends others, takes a risk, and steps up to a challenge. You might be quick to start arguments within your close relationships, or if you have an issue, you can't just let it go. You need to confront it head on, or else you will explode. But this is the thing. This energy is so different to your Virgo self. These parts of you which you have strongly identified with that are orderly, discreet, well-mannered, and service-orientated. And so when you do eventually come out with it, it can feel really strange or like you're being overly aggressive in your mind. And you may think that people test your patience constantly, and then sooner or later you give them a piece of your mind. You can actually have quite a sharp tongue, and you may know exactly what to say in order to get back at someone. Though on the other hand, you also feel other people's criticisms and comebacks deeply. You are sensitive to criticism. Perhaps you don't want to be seen as bad. Yet, perhaps owning your Aries shadow can help you see that you can advocate for yourself and that your passion can be so helpful. This insanely independent streak you have can be brought out and used with intention and direction. And so whilst there is a part of you that can get caught up in merging too much with partners, leading to all sorts of confusion, this Aries part of you comes out and defends yourself. Your instinct is so strong, but maybe you learn to deny your instincts growing up. Perhaps you also learn to deny your anger. And so Virgo, this is about you owning these parts of yourself. However, do also be cautious of your shadow running the show. This could look like you burning your bridges, refusing to ask for help, acting tough like I'll show you, or even martyring yourself, projecting onto others, or burying your head in the sand because you don't want to have to deal with certain things, especially thinking about not wanting to deal with any issues that come up within your relationships. All right, so moving on to the final house, the 12th house, you have the sign of Leo here. And right off the bat, this suggests that some spiritual lessons you are coming to learn in this life are tied to your confidence, your radiance, self-assurance, and your creativity. Perhaps, Virgo, you dream of being a performer or a leader or an artist or someone who is super famous and well known. Maybe you dream of glamour, pleasure, fun, loads of money even. But you might feel as if you must work hard in order to have fun. or that fun comes later. Or maybe you're a Virgo who has found your passion in life, and so this passion is fun for you. Working and being successful are actually seen as enjoyable and playful within their own way. You possess such a vibrant and colorful imagination, Virgo. You are connected to your intuition in quite loud and dramatic ways. But do you ever quiet your mind so you can hear it? As you are rushing around and being productive, etc., perhaps your subconscious is trying to communicate this message of enjoyment, entertainment, letting your hair down. Now, do not get me wrong. When you have a couple of drinks, or when you are fully relaxed and chilled out, when you go on retreats, you shine, okay? You glow. You are able to truly escape in this way. And you can be the type of drunk who dances like crazy on the dance floor, even when you're not drunk and you're just simply living in the moment, right? You can be like this. See, when you truly let go, and I think a lot of it has to do with getting out of here, you let out this whole other side to you that is wild, energetic, and enthusiastic. When you're creating behind the scenes, oh, the stories that can come out, the music that you make, the dances you come up with, the videos you create, it's amazing. But how do you feel when other people see these things? That's if you ever do let other people see what you create. Because you can be super picky, you can be perfectionists about what you show to others. Still, you might feel unsure of yourself. You might act like, oh, it's not that great, it could be better. But what you really mean to say is, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? I worked really, really hard on that. I'm so thankful that you noticed that. Oh boy, Virgos and accepting compliments. I say all of this with love, by the way. Of course, like I said, I have a Virgo rising, and so I have my own personal experiences with this energy. Though with that being said, there can be times when this ego maniac within you takes over. So be cautious of this part of you, Virgo. This is what I was saying about the shadow taking over sometimes. So those times when you seek too much validation from others, or times whenever you obsess about the feedback that you receive from others, the type of attention that you're gaining from others. Will they like it? Will they not like it? Why are they saying this about me? It can become really messy and dramatic and kind of childish. But essentially, be cautious of relying on others to tell you how good you are, because this could easily turn into this void that cannot be filled. No matter how much applause, how much attention you get from others, it's okay to keep it simple. You do not have to prove yourself to anybody. Your humility can be your strength, though at the same time, be cautious of false humility, where you hide how proud you are of yourself. Humility means you can acknowledge your gifts and your talents. Oh, and it's okay to own your ego too. So I think that you are learning how to own your ego, but you're also learning that your ego can be your self-undoing. Your ego can undermine you without you realizing it. So thinking about the presence and the perceived absence of ego here, it can be tricky to identify these parts of yourself. After all, this is the 12th house and it can be a pretty slippery house. But for you, Virgo, I think this is about you coming to terms with playfulness, joy, and fun. This is about you owning your inner child. You know, the part of you that didn't get to play or join in on the games growing up. The part of you that would suppress your own childlike innocence in order to make other people feel comfortable. Yes, Leo in the 12th house teaches you so much about letting your hair down. And when you own these parts of yourself, you possess this calming confidence. This quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself to anyone else, because you accept yourself. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking all about the Virgo psychology. I really hope that you found this video to be helpful today. If you have a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, please let me know what you thought of the video. Did you resonate? And if you are cross-watching for a Virgo, did you find it to be helpful? But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye.